Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Astrology News Report, an alternate view of world events as seen through the lens of Vedic astrology, presented by yours truly, Ron Berger. Today is May 3rd, 2015, so let's take a look at the week that was and how the planets' positions in the zodiac matched up with the past week's events. Dominating the news feed for the past week was the uproar in Baltimore. The black community took to the streets after the Freddie Gray funeral, where a church with over 2,000 seats couldn't hold the crowd. Over 15 police were injured in the riots that followed, prompting the governor to declare a state of emergency and call out the National Guard. In the USA chart, we see that Uranus, the planet of freedom and rebellion, is transiting in the 4th house and nearly exactly opposite the USA natal Saturn, which is the planet of control and enforcement. In response to excessive force by the police, the public is rebelling. Also note the transit of Saturn, which is now retrograde in Scorpio, the 12th house of the USA chart. This is another signification of underhanded actions and the planet of punishment. Since these are slow-moving transits, there will likely be more incidences of excessive force followed by people's rebellions in the forthcoming months. Then last Friday came the news that the 6 police officers who arrested Freddie Gray would themselves be charged with murder. See how Mercury, planet of the media, rational decisions, facts, and data, is directly opposite and influencing retrograde Saturn in Scorpio last week. If it weren't for a local resident filming the incident with his cell phone, none of this would have been known by the media. The facts of the case, that Mr. Gray there was no cause, really, for his arrest, and that he died while in police custody, have actually influenced the planet of enforcement and the established order, so that maybe there will be some justice after all. Another manifestation of Uranus opposite the USA natal Saturn came in the form of Bernie Sanders' official announcement that he is running for the Democratic nomination for president. Senator Sanders first announced his run in an email to supporters and media sent just after midnight early Thursday morning. Here's the chart. Right away, we can see that the chart fits. The rising sign is Sagittarius, a sign of willful independence, belief in your own truth, and the willingness to fight against anyone who disagrees, all of which Senator Sanders perfectly exemplifies. Interesting to note that Jupiter, the chart ruler, is placed in the 8th house of transformation, and that's what he wants to do, transform the status quo. Also, the 8th house is the house of financial support from others. The Sanders campaign got $1.5 million worth of contributions in the first 24 hours, more than any Republican hopeful got in the first day. The Supremes heard arguments last Tuesday on whether states have the right to deny marriage licenses to same-sex couples. It is an historic case which would determine whether or not there is a constitutional right for same-sex couples to marry legally. The planet's positions give some clues on what the decision, expected in June, could be. Note that Saturn, planet of the established order, is retrograde in Scorpio. When Saturn is retrograde, it tries to stop any significant change from happening. Now see that Saturn is opposite to Venus, the planet that is traditionally the significator of marriage. Interestingly, the moon was in Purva Falguni, a lunar sign closely connected to marriage. Purva Falguni is connected with family wealth and receiving one's share. In fact, a lot of the arguments in favor of legalizing same-sex marriage have to do with inheritance, custody of adopted children, and so forth when one of the partners dies. Note, too, that the moon was exactly opposite to Neptune, the planet of confusion. Ignoring international pressure and heart-wrenching last-minute family pleas for clemency, Indonesia executed by firing squad 8 men on drug charges early Wednesday. Most of them were foreigners, including 2 Australians. Along with other governments issuing harsh punishments, this event is a signification of Saturn in Scorpio. Saturn is the planet of enforcement, and when in Scorpio, a naturally vindictive sign, the punishments are harsh, cruel, and ruthless. And, to end on some cheerful news, on Saturday, the royal baby arrived. England now has a princess. Let's see what they got. Here's her chart. So we see that she is Gemini Rising, with Ardra, the rising nakshatra. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is in the 12th house, along with the 12th house ruler Venus. This would be the chart of someone with a lot going on inside the head. Ongoing internal conversations. Note, too, that the chart ruler Mercury is opposed by Saturn, which also then engenders serious thinking, as well as a sense of duty. The moon is with Rahu, a combination signifying unusual thought processes, which is further enhanced by the moon being directly opposite Uranus, planet of the unexpected and the unusual. And look at that 11th house, an exalted sun plus Mars in the house of goals and ambitions. Look out, this girl has an agenda. Okay, that'll do it for this week's Review of the Week. You can keep up with daily astrological developments and contribute your own thoughts by following me on Twitter at Astro News Report.